Hello, audience. It's me, your conscience, speaking to you. And I'm here to tell you that we're going into Game 3 between BLG and JDG. Just kidding, I'm not your conscience, I'm Munchables. I'm joined by Lyric as we head into Game 3 of this absolute banger.
欢迎来到英雄联盟。别走！敌军还有30秒到达战场，免速。
God, we're getting the extra gyos bunch, which feels right.
Dude, it's packed to the rafters in there. It is full stadium fare today for this matchup. JDG versus BLG. JDG over to the blue side now, and we have dramatically different drafts. This is a totally different game to what we've been seeing so far, with a Darius locked in top for Bin.
Yeah, right. Bringing out the Darius, doing incredibly well in those like extended trades with that bleed passive and trying to bring down the Udyr. We've seen teams even kind of give resources to that Darius lane and just give him a little bit ahead early on so he can thrive. But Munch, it's time to drop the sick narratives in this Game 3. We got the Pink Shang Derby. We got Yagao versus Knight. JDG BLG, the rivalry that JDG just kept stomping last year. Elk versus Missing. We got it all, and we got 3 games of it.
We certainly do. And we get a different mid lane matchup as well. Knight winning both sides of the Pink Shang Derby today. As Bin, flashing onto Flandre. He wants to get himself first blood. The bleed, is it enough? I don't think it's enough. But Bin has complete control of this lane now.
Yeah, flashing in, utilizing that lethal tempo as well to get as much damage down as possible. And I love it. Most teams usually kind of temper down in the Game 3, you know, get a bit more reserved because the whole series is on the line. But both these teams, especially being so high up in the standings, clearly showing that they are not going to fear anything.
Yeah, Ruler going for such a high skill cap champion in the bottom side as well to answer what's been happening in this series. Kai'Sa, something that we really have just not seen at all this split. Feels like Kai'Sa fell off the face of the planet recently. But Ruler bringing it back out for some action here. Aggressive junglers as well as Shunt and Kanavi both meet in the top river. Are we going to have a 1v1 between the junglers? No. Moving up to the top side has Bin and Flandre going at it once again. The junglers racing to impact the 1v1. It turns into a 2v2. Do we have a fight on our hands? Bin low on HP. If Kanavi could land the Q, I don't think he'll get the chance this time.
Ooh, does connect in the end. He's going to follow up a little bit, especially with the amount of pressure that's going to be put on Bin with this wave coming into his turret. I don't think JDG should be able to do much off of this.
Kanavi's trying to go forward. Shun gets the knock-up, apprehend, hits onto Kanavi. They're not tanking the tower. Well played by JDG just to survive that one. Kanavi not even having to flash on Shun. Oh no, he stepped too far forwards. The Q goes wide. Stun lands, flash over the wall. And there we go, advantage for JDG.
This has been so back and forth. At first it looked bad for JDG. It's like, Kanavi, I can see why you're wrapping around with the way the health is with... Ooh, wait, what's going on? In the right-hand corner of our screens.
Oh.
Actually forcing Missing to flash. And I like that we get this replay now, because it lets us... maybe it doesn't let us do anything much. This game especially looks like we gotta be on our toes.
And I'm here for it. Like you said, usually Game 3, things slow down. Not for BLG and JDG. This isn't Game 3. This is Game 400 in the last 2 years. And they're here to go again.
Kanavi just hoping that Bin gives the angle, but look at the top lane squad.
Reinforcements. On's on the way as well. Stun coming in from Flandre towards Bin. Dodges away from the Sonic Wave. On looks for a way to get into this lane. Bin needs to try and bait it, but I think they've called the fact that On is missing. Shun's moving over as well. Are they going to go for a dive here? Kanavi's got to be cautious, and there we go. On spotted at this point, but I don't think they care. 2v3. They're going to go for the dive. In fact, ignore the tower. They just go for the guy on the other side of the tower. Bin tanking, steps away. The bleed is there. It's going to be 2 kills as Shun takes the tower shot. Solo. Flandre dies to the bleed. And BLG double kill the dive.
The early roam up top side by On, setting so much in motion. 2 kills denying some CS. A massive 2-0-0 Darius. And especially when Bin is the one piloting it. It is terrifying.
You love to see it if you're a BLG fan right now. Ruler put the pressure onto Elk. They know On's not here, so they're zoning as much as physically possible. In the meantime, they'll deny a lot of CS. You can see the CS lead up top is kind of mirrored down bottom. In fact, slightly bigger for Ruler off of the back of this row.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a replay of exactly what went down. Gonna turn on the Kanavi first, which is nice because it's isolated set up for the 1v2. But it leaves Bin being the first one to tank turret, which makes this dive a little bit messier than it needed to be, because both your damage dealers are scared off early on, but ending up going down to the Udyr. I mean, to the Darius from the bleed. And I also want to take this second before any action breaks out to point out the fact that since we have, you know, more traditional LPL bot lanes, right? Alistar versus Nautilus, it opens up for more play towards the top side. It's why we're not seeing such a heavy focus towards bot like we normally do, right? Because there is no enchanters, there's no double range bot lanes that you kind of have to take care of and enable the hit plates.
I feel like the longer this series has gone on, the more classic LPL it's become. With this absolute carnage at the top side. Bin, big damage. The CC immunity from Flandre there, if the apprehend hits, he's in big danger from the decimation of Bin. The 2 kills are going to make this Udyr's life a misery.
You know, I'm also excited by the fact that, right, we're about to hit our eighth hour of being on broadcast, which kind of brings in the loopiness a little bit and only makes the Game 3 banger that much more of a banger.
I feel like the Game 3 banger like this, you need a bit of loopiness. It's got to be a little bit loopy or it's just not the LPL. We lost Jake this year. We've got to do our best to bring the loopiness in ourselves.
Right now, Knight throwing the pie at the windowsill to Yagao. That didn't make sense, but it didn't make sense the first time Hysteric said it, however many years ago that was.
Oh dear. I miss that guy. He's not dead or anything, he's just not on the LPL. Not that I actually ever got to work with him, you know. We're both play-by-plays.
Actually, yes, you did. Actually, yes, you did, which is kind of funny. So, oh, Yagao forced to flash Knight once again. Just able to come out ahead in the 1v1. Sure, On being there was what ended up forcing the flash, but Knight just decimating so far in the laning phase in this series.
Yeah, he's been absolutely phenomenal. On has been everywhere this game as well. Like, On is having a fantastic performance on the Nautilus. You can see why this was a priority for BLG. I just want to mention, in the draft as well, we didn't get to see the draft on this stream, but there were 7 AD carry bans that came through. That's why we're in a Tristana versus Kai'Sa matchup. That's how we've got into this situation. And Flandre is just annihilated the stacks on Kanavi as well. The true damage is there. Bin is tearing them apart. Triple kill for Bin as he puts them in the dumpster.
5-0-0 on the Darius. 8 minutes into the game. This is an absolute massacre. JDG fans are in tatters to start this one off. Hell, Ruler and Missing are like looking to the right or left and being like, guys, what is going on? Like, we want to be able to play this game.
And Elk, Knight, and On, they are laughing all the way to the bank for this one. I guess On's been a part of it, but Knight and Elk absolutely chilling, feet fully up on the desk at this point. Take another look at the pro view here from Bin.
Yeah, the apprehend comes through right into the W and then the Q. I mean, he's just so big at this point, able to keep following up with all those stacks of bleed. Beautiful flash into the outer rim of the Q as well. The maximum value out of that. I love the laugh. I love the laughter on Bin's face. Usually such a stoic person, and even the happiest of moments for his team.
You could see him like mashing the keyboard early on in the play as well. He was so keen for that one, and rightly so. 5-0. This is BLG versus JDG. Game number 3, and Bin is 5-0. Every single kill in the game has gone into his pocket, and he's got a kill for every other minute. This is a monumental performance.
I mean, he's so close to his Triforce. He could be the first person with this completed item, having one of the more expensive items in the game, just with this lead. Now having the red buff there too. there's just really nothing JDG could do. And you're at a point where you can no longer defend Flandre, right? If any 2v2 or 3v3 breaks out topside, I mean, BLG will just win by these stats they have alone. So you're only going to win that fight if you yourself start bringing up missing, or Yagao have the numbers, or you try to just invest forward bot side. But at this point, there is no way Ruler and Missing can win harder than Bin.
No, they definitely can't. This is going to feel like an incredibly difficult game to play out. And not to mention the fact that, like, Ruler's an incredibly short-range AD carry. Late game, when Bin hits Ghost and just runs at Ruler, it's going to be difficult for Ruler to survive. He's going to need all of the help he can get from his team to survive the onslaught. And if everyone's focused on Bin, it means Elk and Knight have freedom to take over.
You know the worst part? It's not only the Ghost, like just the speed up coming in from Knight, like
yeah,
all
true.
just different ways to be able to get him onto the backline. Ruler now, anytime BLG are going to be grouped up as 5, even if he finds an opportunity where like maybe him or Kanavi, whoever can jump onto Elk, what does that even matter? You're going to be jumping into the waiting hands of a Darius. It feels kind of bad that we're only 11 minutes into this game, and honestly, the gist is kind of like, hey, BLG now should not be able to lose this game, right? Like that just is the way it is. League of Legends, no matter if the game is less snowbally than it was, let's say like 10 years ago, is still incredibly snowbally. So JDG a little bit going to be relying on some creativity, and a lot going to be relying on some actual mistakes to come out from BLG as well.
Well, if there's a team that you want creativity from, JDG certainly up there. TP from Knight, he's just finished Malignant. Big item spike and a hook from On is beautiful to see. Missing, uses his ultimate to keep himself alive, and it's a double TP from JDG. 5 men strong. They stack up to try and contest this straight, but Bin is on the way. The raid boss moves down the river, and JDG quivering in their boots, both butt cheeks clenched at this point, as they know that Bin will have no mercy. Another hook, another hit. Pop Blossom only onto the support, and now BLG can run rampant in this fight. As 1 kill goes over onto On here, as Elk has to run away as well, and Bin can't actually close the gap onto anyone.
No, still though, it doesn't mean JDG can just run forward freely with his presence there. I think they're still even able to just posture and contend for this objective.
Oh! What a shutdown, and it's right into Ruler's pocket. That is insane. 1 kill goes over tonight. At least there's some kind of answer. Flandre burnt down, but the heal comes in, and Elk's jumped in as well. Gets the reset, bounces back over the wall. Knight getting damage down as well. And it's absolute chaos. What a play from Kanavi. His Lee Sin is insane.
Much that play happened so fast. Even seeing it in real time, my mind couldn't even keep up with what was going on. Kanavi, my God, what an angle. Neither team gonna be able to take Drake off that, but we're gonna see here, right? BLG feeling confidence because their raid boss Bill is in the area. Yagao getting a little space with the Pop Blossom. But actually, it's actually On who ends up going down from the damage put up by here. And then it was this, I gotta see. He just lands a Q, gets the hop in there. Yeah, R flash in, and having enough damage, right? No one able to follow up. He might be a fed Darius, but it still doesn't mean that 4 people aren't going to be able to absolutely annihilate him.
Yeah, his Q on cooldown as well, so couldn't get the sustain on. I think if a Q goes off, it suddenly starts to get really scary for JDG, but it didn't. And that means, like, total gold, still pretty heavily in favor of BLG. But considering how in favor it was before, this is an absolute godsend for JDG. And the fact that Ruler gets the shutdown, he gets all of that gold straight into his pocket. He's a Kraken Slayer and a BF sword.
Yeah, I mean, Ruler now a force to be reckoned with still, though. Malignant's picked up now for Knight. That's going to be able to really hit hard, but maybe we shouldn't talk about Knight for now, as Yagao might actually be the one in some trouble. All 4 members of BLG on their way.
He's like, wait, they'll dive me if I'm Kaiser. I'll be Alistair instead. That way they won't go for me. It worked! It worked! He's a genius. The camouflage paid off in the end. Does take a chunk from Knight underneath the tower, but I think BLG realizing that the rest of JDG were on the way.
let's also remember that Yagao is like the OG Nico Mind Games player. Like, he is the one that has all the funny clips of him being a minion or him being a Krug or whatever else, like waiting and finding those engages.
Engage from JDG. They've found Shun here. Will be able to protect himself a little bit as Elk jumps into the play as well. Ruler needs to be careful. He's going for these kills, but he's low on HP himself. Is it going to be a trade? No, they get out on the blast cone. Ruler survives. Knight has to find a miracle here. Wait, Knight found a solo kill on Yagao while all of that was going on, but it means he's got no cooldowns, and Ruler gets a double kill. This is going disastrously for BLG.
And at the same time, we have been trying to run all the way down to make something happen. He might be able to, but Flandre is being left alone, being given free time with the turret top, be given free time to try to catch back up and actually make his presence known in this game.
Finn can't get there in time to punish anybody. He's got these 5 kills, but he's not been able to do anything in these last couple of fights. JDG finding ways to fight without his presence. Flandre gets the tower. Finn at least will be able to crash a wave. And Elk got that tower mid as well.
Mantra Q starting things off into the W. Yagao, I mean, not having the flash to be able to get away, has the Pop Blossom, but it just doesn't mean anything in the end. Remember, Knight already having Malignance here, so able to dish out a fair amount of damage, but doesn't stop from the rest of the squad returning to finish him off, and now we're at an incredibly close game out of nowhere.
And I'm glad, honestly. I was a little bit worried there that we turned this into a bit of a stomp, that we were going to see just Bin take over the game. It feels like JDG having their head screwed on today, knowing how to deal with the Darius, knowing how to stop that snowball. Well, maybe not stop the snowball, but just sort of avoid the snowball and hope it isn't a problem later. It's not quite as comprehensive as what I was suggesting before, but still.
Still a strategy.
Yeah.
Gonna be able to pick up the Rift Herald for now. So BLG getting even more in their pocket. So I'm still kind of feeling decently comfortable with where BLG are at in this game. But I mean, you already pointed out, right? Ruler's quickly getting to a point where you can't ignore. And if they can kite out the initial ghost from Bin, I mean, they'll just be able to kite him out for the rest of the fight. So a lot still up in the air for now. And I'm just on my toes, Munch, because both these teams have shown that they're just willing to fight out of nowhere in this game. Constantly aggressing into the opposing territory, even with no objectives up. Just like this!
And Kanavi just goes straight onto on. Forces the flash over the wall as well. Yagao is there too. The shield comes out onto on. Can he survive the aftershock? Doing a lot to buy him time and space. Ignite onto Kanavi here. The pop blossom from Yagao is huge. Shun will go down. Knight desperate to try and turn this one around, but Missing can tank forever. Kanavi under the tower and Missing just dives underneath. Finally, he'll go down, but Knight is alone under the tower. Yagao will be
Here
traded.
comes Bill!
Finally arrives. Bill on the scene, and he wants some kills, but he's just being kited. He just ain't fast enough. Ruler flashes over. Oh my god, he actually gets out. Ruler, you are insane.
What is this game? Both teams just showing off pretty much their mechanical decision-making prowess in these moments. BLG still slightly up in kills, but man, this is chaos, and sadly, our man Bill cannot find a way to bring his advantage into these fights soon enough.
Bill right now, he's 5-1. He's dominated his lane, but it's just like when you're at the office and Stacy won't shut up about what she did on the weekend. She won't shut up about what Hernan's been doing, and he's losing his mind at this point. The rest of his team just can't do it.
I'm just so happy for Kanavi though, because after having kind of a lackluster spring last year, his spring right now is so incredibly good. JDG hard forcing with so much CC to keep him there. And Munch, it looks like we won't even get to be in this replay for too long because we are fighting over Dragon.
I love that as Missing's ult falls off, he's tanked so many tower shots in the last one, there's like half of his health. Here we go. BLG looking for the fight. On has Hex Flash, and he's going to look for the engage. Gets over the wall. It's going to be a 50-50 here as Missing starts a fight. Yagao! The GOAT himself finding 5 with a pop blossom, and it might just be enough for JDG to take over this fight. Bin's still going strong, but I don't think he can get into the action. And in the meantime, Ruler is cleaning house. BLG have been eradicated. Ruler
How did this game flip on its head out of nowhere? Great job from Yagao to set that up. Ruler, the huge beneficiary, and now we can see all of them scurrying so quickly towards the Baron.
They've got the gold lead, I think, for the first time this entire game, 3,000 in their favor. And on the Kaiser of all picks, a champion we haven't seen basically all year. 780 carry bans in this draft. And
Look
Ruler
at
still
this.
comes out on top.
What a beautiful pop blossom from Yagao to just lock things down. And look at Min, he still can't get up to deal damage. Ruler just hammering on them the whole time. I'm a little bit surprised he wasn't more willing to go forward, but then Kanavi just continuing to chase down. Immaculate team fighting from JDG.
I just can't believe how this game is going. I genuinely can't believe my
We had
eyes.
a 5-0 Darius in 8 minutes.
I'd basically just called it a loss at this point for JDG after Bin had that early game. And somehow, JDG have completely nullified him. He's had no impact on this game. Look at that swing in percentage. Like a 20% swing for the game over the last few minutes. On just gets absolutely chunked for even looking at Ruler.
I know, I mean, Turvinus and Navori, he is dealing so much damage, missing, taking a bit of damage himself.
I love that we're just scrapping every single time we see each other. Missing goes for the play. Blasco back out, and he brings Bin with him. Bin on the back line, but he just doesn't have the sustain to survive it. He can't get onto Ruler, and Shun's ultimate times out. Another double kill. That's 11 in the bank. This man is on a mission, and Kanavi's Lee Sin has been insane today as well.
Yeah, again, I feel like Kanavi's really been having a great split. Ruler missing him, been a bit more quiet, but they're showing up here today.
Oh, Elk, great little ultimate to keep himself alive. Ruler tries to get onto on here. Flandre stuck underneath the tower. Another shot. Not quite enough to finish the job. On goes for a hook. I'm not sure this is a fight that they can win. The kickback is huge. And Knight gets a kill. Yagao down. Can Elk get some resets here? This could be huge. Health bars are low on the side of JDG. There's no Baron on the map because JDG already grabbed that.
We are living in a world of chaos. This is the LPL we have all been waiting for. And again, one of the just best playoff advertisements there could be. Top teams playing against each other. BLG now finding some fight back and going to be able to get a bit for themselves.
I wonder where we're taking this Herald at this point. Maybe just using it to retreat. Zon will get away with his life. We have a second to breathe. Let's take a look at this fight once more.
Yeah, we're going to start off with Missing going for the engage. They've been so fearless with following in these Sonic waves like Kanavi setting it up. But great job by Shun there to deny the full impact from the Pop Blossom. That could have been where they really exploded. Sure, Ruler starts to find some kills for himself, but the craziest part to me, Munch, is the fact that the team fight devolves between two turrets. Like JDG just really don't care. Nice lockdown coming in from Knight there to make sure Flandre takes the full brunt of this damage. And then On is just so fearless to keep the fight going, but the snipe in the end guarantees another going over to BLG and making sure that they can keep this game close.
I'm not sure how Yagao ended up tanking the tower there, but unfortunate for him, he ends up going down. Knight finishes the job. There was another turret shot on the way as well. Look at Ruler's scoreline right now.
Plus
11,
4,000 gold.
3.5 items at 24 minutes. As Knight just tries to clear it away. If he's in danger of being dived right now. Kanavi, you don't get to see his Lee Sin often, but I genuinely think he's one of the best Lee Sins in the world. And he's looking on form today. Some of these kicks have been magnificent. I mean, the kick on Bin in that first river fight that shut down Bin in the first place really set JDG up to even contest anything.
Yeah, it's really just gotten them to the place they are. We're going to see now if BLG can even walk in to attempt any fight. It seems like they're completely fine just ignoring JDG for now.
How do you... I don't know how you win this as BLG now, and it's so devastating. They have not beaten JDG all of last year. They played, what, 7 times and never beat JDG, and now they get Knight. Now, 369 subbed out. Oh, subbed out. He swaps. Flandre joins the roster. it felt like this was the time for BLG. And then they lose to IG the other day. Suddenly there's rumblings, like we're wondering what's going on with the team. And now, game number 3, Bin gets a massive lead, one of the best tops in the world that's known for dominating and carrying. And somehow it slipped between their fingers. You gotta feel that the pressure must be insurmountable on these players right now.
I feel like it's either that or literally the exact opposite, where all 10 of these players, again, are such like high caliber players who've seen like the highest highs you could see in League of Legends. They're just like, yo, we know this is a regular season series. We go all out for the massacre in this game 3. And right, they all know playoffs in LPL is a different monster. Like, you cannot take any series from the regular season and kind of use it as a philosophy to follow, because at the end of the day, any players can just show up.
The funniest thing about this series to me is that we haven't once said the fact that this is an MSI Finals rematch. How crazy is that? This is an MSI Finals rematch in the regular season. Almost making it to World Finals, but T1 made short work of that dream.
And what's crazy is even with the roster changes, it doesn't affect the quality of match, because the mid laner swapped teams and JDG brought in a top laner that's a world champion. Like, the quality is still there.
It's not like the caliber of player went down, you know. Maybe less of a carry in that top side for JDG, but still an exceptional player nonetheless.
And to be fair, right, JDG were not using 369 as a carry. Like,
no, they weren't.
Flandre could come in and fill that role perfectly.
I mean, when you think back to spring last year, the fact that 369 basically gave Bin a breakdown so he had to learn to play tanks says about the style of gameplay that 369 would bring to the table for JDG. Here we go, though. Baron started. JDG, the ones to start it. 4,000 gold lead for them as Missing just looks for the fight. Yagao alongside him here. Knight moving forwards, but the rest of the team are just continuing to do the objective. Missing might be sacrificed for the players. Shun's kicked out of the pit. It's 1 kill for a Baron, and Bin goes down as well. Ruler dives onto the back side of the play, but Shun jumps onto it. Flash over the wall. Shun's still surviving, and Elk is going. Maybe Elk can finally get his fight. Hook onto Ruler, but they don't have the damage. And Ruler versus the world. Elk with a triple kill right here. But Ruler is just going to 1v4. No, taken down. Brings 3 with him, but it just ain't enough.
Elk finding the fight that he needed. JDG, I mean, they get the Baron, but in the end, the Baron doesn't equate to anything. Now trying to take everything they can, denying jungle camps, getting push going, and it's still anyone's game.
This is obscene. This is ridiculous. This is everything you could want from JDG BLG.
Yeah, we're going to see the kick out from the pit. It's actually Flandre who secures the Baron in the end, which is kind of a bit of a whoopsie for JDG with how that could have gone. But here, Ruler trying to follow in, but Shun forcing him to flash really feels like it turns the fight in BLG's favor. Look at all the free room that Elk decided to play with. But my God, it got dicey here with these low health bars.
I genuinely thought Ruler was going to do it for a second, but Shun finds his way in and takes him down. And the fact that he just died still has 300 gold bounty is absolutely mental. And you know, I have to wonder what my neighbors are thinking at this point as I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. But there's just no other way to commentate this kind of game. Flandre, CC immunity keeps him safe. Bit of a weird ult from off, not gonna lie.
Ah, you know what? He'll get another one of those soon. He's feeling fine. If there's a chance for an engage, you don't give up a chance for an engage in this game. On shown that sincerely levels, right? He was the first one to make that roam up towards topside. Is that damage?
My God.
Not surprising.
10,000 damage in a single team fight. We're looking for Flandre. Elk gets some damage down, chases after him as well. Flandre cannot withstand this. And the rest of the gang is here to meet him. A great pick for BLG. They've got to reset to stop the answer from JDG on the opposite side of the map. Knight's got to be careful. Missing would love to make a flash play here. Has Hex Flash available to him. Drake spawning as well. Neither team on soul point, so not going to be the focal point for now.
Yeah, so right now, going to be able to push this turret, but we can see, yep, there it is. Elk answering on the opposite side, and someone needs to recall. This is a Tristana. He's going to be able to do so much damage to this base. Right now, only sending Missing back.
The TP actually comes out, forces a TP from JDG, dodges away from the roof, and stays way too long. Elk, that was so disrespectful.
Yeah, ends up going down. Still, they were able, JDG were able to pick up the dragon in the meantime. So find a pick, find themselves on soul point. There isn't an inhibitor exposed now. So will be some things you have to worry about. And I mean, right, there have just been so many shenanigans, so many more fights than what we would typically see. Like no objectives up, just looking for these picks. It feels so hard to predict which way this game will go. I guess for us and you know anyone else who's following here with the kind of live semi not live English broadcast, the fun that we're here for, Munch.
TP into the mid lane, mid inhib tower is going to go down, probably the inhib with it as well. Ruler needs to hit the tower instead of the minions here. This will be an inhib. Bin still just trading on the opposite side of the map, looking for a tier 2. I don't know if this is an even trade really for them. He does not have TP, so he needs to get this tower and potentially get out of dodge. He's going to get collapsed on here. Needs to try and get his recall off fast.
Yep,
I don't know if he's going to get it.
If you get... Oh! Okay, not going to expect him to still be back in that brush, it seems like.
Trying to predict that he would run away. Does not find it. Bin gets the recall off in the brush, so traded a tier 2. At least he got something. One tier 2 left on the entire map. It's up in that top side for BLG. 3 grubs apiece. 3 Drakes to 2 in favor of JDG. Baron back on the map in just over a minute's time. And honestly, at this point, it's anyone's game. Yes, Ruler is full build, but Elk's only half an item away as well, and that Tristana certainly has hit the late game spike. This Karma as well is going to do massive damage in an extended fight.
Yeah, and for JDG side, we can think back earlier to the fight JDG won most dominantly. It's on what Yagao can find especially. You're looking at Yagao, you're looking at Kanavi to be the big playmakers. A big pop blossom onto 5 people like earlier is going to win the game. If Kanavi can step someone just walking a bit too far forward and finds that insect, it will be a similar thing.
I feel so tense. I'm so excited to see how this one ends. Another chapter in the BLG versus JDG story. And yet again, it's an absolute banger. I feel like towards the end of last year, it started to get more and more one-sided. It started to become a bit of a JDG fest. And I feel like now, the swap of the mid laners, the roster changes, have changed it up again. Bin gets altered by literally everyone on JDG, and it's enough to finish the job. He's taken out of the picture, and suddenly Baron is wide open.
And for JDG, it's very easy for them to even just try to like go for the smite itself. You have the Alistar to be able to knock the Zinzao away. Looks like they're looking for the turn though. Yagao doesn't have Pop Blossom.
4v5 is the only answer for BLG, but they're just going to get engaged on after the Baron is taken. Chun trying to get away with his life. Elk hops over towards the rest of his team. Ultimate's not there for the side of JDG, so they don't hard force too much, but enough to show their strength.
Yeah, and you know, we haven't really talked about scaling at all this game. It's not really something that's mattered, but I definitely edge it in favor of BLG having the Karma in mid to provide the support for Tristana. We can already see BLG kind of outranging them in some of these exchanges, which is making it hard for JDG to go in. JDG do have great hard engage, though. The last time around, though, it was wasted going for this pick here on the bin. I guess you can't say wasted when it does net them the kill. And Karen, great job waiting in that brush. He didn't expect it, and then Ruler.
You can't tell if he's playing League of Legends or Phasmophobia. He scans in the brush, there's one person, then suddenly the entire goon squad appears. Jumps on top of him. Not a lot he could do about that one. That's going to be his flash and his ghost on cooldown off the back of that play as well, which quite a big deal for Darius in the next fight. And Bin, after getting 5 kills in the first, what, like 8 minutes or something? He's not a single kill since. He's not been able to have any impact.
Yeah. Also want to point out, this actually happened a few minutes ago, but Ruler changing out the terminus for the LDR. Definitely going to help as the game progresses later to be able to cut down that front line and really just help burst anybody out.
Yeah. I gotta say, I was kind of surprised to see the terminus on Kai'Sa. I'm not really up to date on Kai'Sa builds, as she's not really been meta. I know Kai'Sa, one of those champions that always gets a bit weird when it comes to the builds. But like you're saying, swapping out, the fact that he's at the position where he's like chopping and changing his build to purely optimize at this stage just says how ahead he is.
Yeah, we do have Elk finally getting full build himself though with the finish of that GA. So a bit more survivability there. And I think GA is especially useful when you're going up against a composition where, like we said, Yagao's Pop Blossom can make such a big impact, right? Because as long as you can survive past some of those initial cooldowns and then reposition, you will be able to do more in an extended fight.
Certainly will, but it's about finding that extended fight, because these fights have not lasted long.
No.
Absolute kill squad on the side of JDG. And I love that we see Kai'Sa back after 780 carry bans, but JDG still play the Kai'Sa way. You know, they're still playing for that individual pick that starts the fight off, using that killer instinct aggressively to take BLG apart. And now sieging into the base here. The gold lead is pretty monumental, but we're so late that I'm not sure it matters that much. It's much more about how this fight begins, but the Baron is making short work of this tower, and there's a huge wave crashing at the bot side. Bin's gonna go deal with that, but the second he shows on that bot wave, that could be the opportunity for JDG.
Yeah, and JDG kind of need to look for aggressive action, right? They're playing Kai'Sa Nico up against Tristana Karma. The wave clear is there.
Missing takes a big chunk. Ruler knocked up as well. They found Kanavi. They've taken him down underneath the tower. Missing pulls a flash. BLG finally with a chance. Yagao gets the ult off, but Elk flashes it, and suddenly he's the one to take over. Yagao down, missing, down, and BLG barrels to the mid lane.
Ruler still sticking around to provide a distraction, but I don't think it'll do much. We can just see, this might just be it, Munch.
Can they actually end the game? This is a heartbreak for JDG if they actually lose. It was so one-sided at the start. The comeback was ridiculous, and now BLG charging down the middle of the map. Ruler literally versus the world, and the world is too much. BLG, after a year of being second place, a year of JDG comes to an end, and BLG rise to the top of the pile.
What a great performance, honestly, from both teams. It just makes me so excited to see this matchup again, potentially in the future. We've seen it so many times over the past year, but I can't get enough of it much. Absolutely delivering. BLG, I mean, they came out on top. Good performance by them. Elk in his repositioning around that last fight. It was great, not getting caught out by the Pop Blossom. And Knight, the ping shot derby, makes his way up to 45 wins, 24 losses against Yagao.
Knight is just too insane, isn't he? But I feel like that was Elk.